and gentlemen, I am Christopher Pelton, just another red shirt here on the Enterprise. It is my great pleasure tonight to bring to you a young man who is doing some wild stuff in the field of comics. He's got a new book that is currently in the Kickstarter phase, so let's hear all about that. Mr. Dre FiRe, welcome to THC Time, my friend. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, sir, it is an absolute pleasure. I saw the cover of the book. I saw that you were in the process of doing the fundraising for to get the Kickstarter off to get the book done. How has that been going?
It's been a tedious process, you know, but like it's a learning process. So like this is the second time. The first one failed, but like I have 3 days left. So like, but like it's been really fun trying to like get people to latch on to the idea, because I think they're just worried about if it's just going to be another Mortal Kombat.
Right. Now, I love this cover. It popped right off the page when I first, I see a million things every day, and some of them just jump right out at me. That jumped right out at me. So this is your cast of characters. This is the main group. Tell us a little bit about what the book is all about.
Okay. It's the book is not that complicated to talk about, but I'm gonna give you in simple terms. Pretty much it's about 10 like villains from their universes, shady passes. They're fucked up people. Like right. They all flaws. They come to this island invited to fight in this mystical tournament. If they win, they get power, glory, money, or they could get redemption and start a new life, you know, and become better, be better. You feel what I'm saying?
Sure.
But along the way, like things really like take a weird turn of events, and it's just like I don't want to dig too deep in it because it's I want you to be thrown as a loop. All I'm saying is it's something you need to be there to experience. I can tell you what's going to happen in all this, but it's better that you feel the plot twists for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, but there is a villain that's bigger than all of them, and he's not even on the cover.
All right. So when did you get bit by the comics bug?
I have to mention, I was on set. I was doing boom mic for a friend. He was making this Stag Shock short film.
Okay.
And like it went viral and stuff. And like, you know, we were just talking about like, we're making this short film and we're not making no money off of it. And they hit me right there. I was like, well, if I create my own characters and all this, and if he ever want to shoot another short film, now we can make money off of it.
There you go.
You feel what I'm saying? Or like, and then other things start popping up in my head, like Octavia Butler, Toni Morrison, Alan Moore, Dwayne McDuffie, fuse them all together. Samuel Delaney, like fuse them all together with my personality, which is like very, I'm not saying like braggadocious. That's not even me. It's just like, I know what I'm capable of. You feel what I'm saying?
This is what I tell everybody, because authors ask me all the time, writers, musicians, people ask me all the time, and I tell them the same thing. If you're not excited about what you're doing, why should I be?
Exactly.
You are your brand. You know, this is your creation. You've brought this to life. And I saw that cover and I saw the hype that you're building for the book, and I was excited, which is why I reached out to you, because that's the way you understand that's what you've got to do. You want to sell product. You want to be your brand.
Right.
Nobody's going to be a bigger cheerleader for your work than you. And I can tell by talking to you in just the last few minutes, you believe in what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And you know you're on a path that you should be on right now. And that's exciting.
Yeah, because like after that, I was like, I need to make a comic book or something. And I was like, it can't just be a book. It has to be it has to be a whole like idea. Like, so I thought Prophecy Comics, and I'm like, I was searching who has his name, somebody has it, but they haven't been active since the 2000s.
Sure.
1999 type stuff. Like, so I'm like, okay, I used it, got the logo made, but when I made it, I was like, and I got the little phrase, it's more than comics, it's prophecy. Like,
Nice.
because as Black people, we always telling people what's gonna happen. Like, hey, this gonna happen, this gonna happen, this gonna happen. But it takes them for it to happen to be like, oh, dang, we should have listened. You know what I'm saying? Always looking at it through like, I'm writing the future I want to see and don't want to at the same time.
Sure. Totally understandable.
So even though it's like cosmic horror, romance, every genre is in my universe.
Sure.
So, but it's in a cosmic horror universe though.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You can't limit yourself to, you take the story where you feel the story needs to go. And that's especially true with long form, like with comic stuff. I've been a comic guy my whole life. I started reading comics when I was 6. I've read some of the greatest runs by some of the greatest creators ever.
Wow.
And, I was there at the comic store every Wednesday when those books were coming out. I worked in a comic book store during the height of the 90s. Oh, here's 27 different variant covers. And here's, I went through the speculator market. I went through all of that. So it's important to know when you're creating these things that your story you don't know where your story is necessarily going to go. Characters that you create as, oh, this guy's just a sideline guy, and maybe end up being more than that. Have you found any of your characters kind of demanding more of your attention than you originally intended?
They all want my attention. I think of it like, I believe in like God, but not in like this whole religious aspect. Like, God is already inside me. It's already my soul. So why would I search for anything else outside of it? You know? And that's what I listen to. So when I create this new universe, they all gonna want my attention, because what they're going through is even crazier than what I'm going through. So they need somebody to vent to, and they're probably, and when they so-called pray or talk or whatever to themselves, I'm listening of what they went through, and
you're transcribing. All right.
Like,
I dig that, man.
It may sound crazy, but
no, I dig that. That is a philosophy that is an interesting take on creation, man. That I dig that a lot.
Because sorry.
No, go ahead.
So I feel like that's what the creator of our souls is doing. Like, just writing the book of our lives.
Sure.
So
I dig it.
And listens, and sometimes while he's writing it, he'll be like, let me change that real quick. As in, like, when it's finna happen.
Right.
Sometimes he intervenes, sometimes he or she intervenes, or they don't. Sometimes we need to go through certain things. Now I don't know, like, oh, you need this to grow. Some things is out of our control. Some things is out of their control.
Right. Exactly.
But, my characters go through that because that's where I met them.
Sure.
I wish I could have met them before that, but I'm going to learn all of that. I fall into all this like I don't know nothing. I'm new to this universe. Just like, so I know people gonna be like, oh, he's probably gonna try to retcon, and how when I just started creating it.
Right.
So
right. That's cool, man. I dig that. That is a great take on that. Because with comics especially, world building is everything.
Yeah.
And you have to be, as a reader, you have to want to be in that world. You want to know what those characters are doing. You want to hear those stories. And when it's done right, it's a thing of beauty. There's a reason why comics has outlasted so many other, forms of media. We're losing magazines and newspapers left and right, but comics are still doing what comics have always done. Where do you find yourself in the creative community? Are you Are you considered to be a comic creator who's black, or do you consider yourself to be a black comic creator? Like, because obviously there is a difference.
Oh no, I'm like, you know, the people that I look up to. Yeah, I look up to Alan Moore, but Octavia Butler, Toni Morrison,
Sure.
Dwayne McDuffie, Spike Lee, John Singleton, Sam Greenlee. I can keep going like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Uh, uh, Tony Todd, like rest in peace, Tony Todd.
Oh yeah.
Like he gave me an opportunity to even speak to him like through DM and stuff. I'm not gonna dive into what we talked about,
Right.
but just for him believing in me was
That's
enough
cool.
for me. You feel what I'm saying?
Sure. Hell yeah.
A veteran black man, and it's just like I value that so much because I looked up to him
Right.
because he was Candyman. He was Candyman.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's just like when he like left, I felt that. Like I was like,
Sure.
dang, man. Like I just wish I could have met him in person and chilled with him and talked. You
Because
know.
he had become kind of an elder statesman in horror between Candyman and his roles in Final Destination, and I mean, just a million things.
Oh man.
It was amazing. I mean, I've never seen him in anything. Like, I mean, I've seen him in bad movies, but he was not bad in those movies.
Like
You
his
know?
was always incredible.
Yeah, it just unbelievable,
And it's
unbelievably
just to
talented.
get a movie made too. So
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
that's how I feel. And like all the scripts I write too are
Mhm.
are movie scripts first.
Nice,
So
nice.
like I'm a writer director, but like I have to figure out, am I gonna spend 50,000 on a short film or on a graphic novel?
Good point.
So like
It
I gotta raise the money. That's why I broke it up into issues.
right.
But how I got the characters for that story, I did a contest, like the indie comic book creators, they all submitted,
Right.
and the ones that came and submitted their stuff, I used them with their permission, you know. And the only characters that's mine is the middle character in the golden purple
Mhm.
and the black man with the gray dreads. Those are my characters. The rest are like if you go through the Kickstarter, you'll see all the
Mhm.
people who have characters in it.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and
Collaboration. Mhm.
it's my book, but it's our success.
Sure. Absolutely. Could not agree more, my friend. That is an excellent attitude to have. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We're going to play a fun little game called Straight Fire.
How was that?
All right. And we are back. So here we go. 5 questions, no wrong answers. Silly stuff. I don't do gotcha. First question I like to ask everybody: if dogs wore pants, would they wear them on 2 legs or 4 legs?
I don't know. I don't think dogs will wear pants at all.
Fair enough.
but I'll say 2 legs, but they'll
2
still
legs.
walk on 4s.
All right, absolutely. Um, when you're working, when you're writing, when you're at your desk, what are you munching on? You got a bowl of, what's your snack to go? What's your go-to?
granola bars, or granola bars and bottled water or mineral water.
All right, all right. Do vampires sparkle?
Yeah, when they turn to dust.
Good answer. Very good answer. What's your favorite guilty pleasure movie?
They Live.
Good movie. Good movie.
And The Thing.
All right. All right. And the last question I ask everybody, when you go to the grocery store, sir, can you reach the top shelf?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Most of the time I hear no. And somebody asked me that one of the very first interviews I did. So now I ask everybody. So the book is where the Kickstarter is going off. We got 3 days left on that. So definitely let's direct some folks to that. And where can they find the Kickstarter?
On Twitter, Prophecy Comics, follow us. And Threads, Dre FiRe, where I do a lot of shit talking and promote indie comics.
Excellent. That's a good thing to do. They're both shit talking and promoting indie comics. So what's in the plans for the future? You got plans to hit the road, do some conventions, signings here and there?
No, not yet. I need at least 3 books out before I can start doing that.
All right.
For me.
Sure.
But
totally.
When I get those 3 books really out there, like and it's circulating, then I want to because I want to be a ghost in my work. I don't want to just I got my first book, which will be nice, but I want them. I want to flood the streets first.
Sure, sounds good. Sounds like a solid plan. So we can find you on Threads. We can find you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Facebook.
No. Nope.
Understandable. All right. Well, Dre, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate your time.
I want to say one last thing. If that's
okay. Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Wednesdays and Saturdays, Prophecy Comics on Twitter, we do indie comic book posts where you can post under my post network. I'll retweet your comic book if it need to be seen. You feel what I'm saying? And on Sundays, I do Black comic book creators only for that day. Excellent. But I've been doing this since I started my Prophecy Comics because I felt like nobody was making a space for indie comics, period. Right. So I'm hoping to be a staple. Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. Cool, but I'm trying to make history with all of us. Hell yeah, man. Let's get the word out there. Let's build the buzz. Looks great to me. And, let's stay in touch. We'll get some stuff going on. Oh, man. Thank you again. Oh, no problem at all. Having me. Sure. And anytime you want to come on, any announcements you want to make, hit me up, my friend. You're always welcome. Yeah. I definitely got you. And I will send some people your way, too. All right. Sounds like a plan. I look forward to it. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in and stay tuned. We'll be back after this commercial break.
If I was such a big fucking loser, how would I have managed to score 6 of the hottest tickets in town? This is a very exclusive, very lit music festival that takes place out in the middle of the Nevada desert.
Wonderful! I heard about the festival through the grapevine. I know a shortcut. You turn right over there in the dirt road. You'll save 40 minutes.
What a bunch of idiots.
Yes, they are!
Breaker, 6-9. It's Papa Bear. Good news. There's a rock and roll concert near base camp. Even better news. We're gonna eat for a fucking long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Christopher Pelton, just another red shirt here on the Starship Enterprise, and I am the host of THC Time. It is my great pleasure to have an amazing filmmaker with us tonight. His newest short film has been just creating a buzz. Recently has been winning awards. It's a good thing. Folks, we're going to check out this movie. This is called Monster, and then when we come back, we're going to have a chat with the brilliant mind behind it.
No need to cry. It'll all be over soon. Don't worry, baby. Daddy's here. You thirsty? Are you thirsty? Answer my fucking question! Here. Here's a little for you. Shut up! Drink the fucking water. You gotta be hydrated for what we're about to do. Come on, it's fun. You're not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. Shut up! We're gonna have fun. Lots of fun. You'll love it, I promise. I said shut up! I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you if you do what I fucking say. You understand? You smell good. So we meet again, my love.
My love, you tortured me for what felt like an eternity. It took me forever to come to terms with what you did.
I loved every minute of our time together, though.
Shut up! You don't run things anymore. This is my game now.
You still feel me inside, though?
Shut up! Stand up.
Oh, how poetic. But you can't bury this forever. I'll always be in the dark corners of
And you
your
probably fucking will. But now you can't destroy anybody else. Piece of shit.
I love playing with you.
Fuck up.
I love playing with you. You'll never be free of me, I promise.
And you'll never hurt anyone again.
Some say I'm a monster, but how can what feels right be wrong? It all started 14 years ago. The neighbor girl, she had a fascination with me. such a beauty at 12 years old. I took her to an abandoned house. She was so eager to go on an adventure with me. I choked her until she passed out, and then I revived her and did it again. Then I stuck a knife in her abdomen. So much blood. I bled her dry. That day I lost my virginity. That day I became a man.
Fucking monster. The lowest of the low. Even hell is too good for you.
We're all monsters when pushed, though. Look in the mirror, Cat. Your reflection is stained in blood. Ooh, is it my turn now?
How does it feel to not be in control? How does it feel to be the helpless victim?
We're the same, though, you and I.
I'm nothing like you.
Two dark souls in a world full of death.
I'm gonna end you, fucking piece of shit.
Do you remember our first night together? It was magic. You are so beautiful. Tell me, my love, were you a virgin before that night?
Just let me go. Please, for one time. Please. Help me. Don't hurt me, don't hurt me.
Become the monster. Ooh.
Darkened streets at night was crying. Moon hid its face, world was dying. Chains unbound, cold ground beneath. Silent screams, her heart beats with. Whispers in the wind, so chilling. Shadows twist, they're never willing. Hollow eyes with fractured gleam. Freedom felt like distant dream. Run, she runs free as a whisper. Night with scars, memories blister. Cold hands can't hold her spirit tight. Breaking dawn, she owns the night. Breaking dawn, she owns the night.
So let's get into it. Tell me about how this project came to be.
So I'm a huge horror fan, always have been, but I tend to try to gear more towards the real life scenarios, like your serial killers and stuff like that. Because, monsters and all this shit is scary, but real life to me is even scarier. So I had the
after
idea.
my own heart.
Yeah, so I had the idea. I wanted to do something simple. A woman gets kidnapped. She breaks free. She comes back for revenge. And I decided to cast two of my favorite actors that I've worked with, Ashley and Jason, because I thought they would portray the characters very well. And funny enough, this is the first time Jason has ever portrayed a character like this, and he killed it. Like, he really delivered it. And I had it in my mind, like, he's going to be terrifying in this, and he really was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. You were rooting.
And Ashley, she's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. When that hammer came out, I was like, all right, now it's time to get dirty.
Yeah.
So how long have you been making films?
I started in 2009.
Okay.
I was one of those, kids growing up. I always stole mom and dad's video camera, would make stupid movies with my cousin. We always made stupid monster movies where Saddam Hussein was the bad guy for some reason. Just seemed to be the way we worked. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but, I got older, graduated, was supposed to go to film school. Things didn't work out.
Right.
2009, I wrote a short script called Pipe Wrench, submitted it to a guy named Shane Michaels out of Bryan, Ohio at the time. He had a company called Blood and Guts Productions.
Mm-hmm.
He really liked the vibe, started working with him, and I shot my first 2 short films with him.
Nice.
And from there, it's just been going. I worked with them for a couple of years, went solo. About 2015, 2016, I left film for a while. I had a bunch of family shit come up and happen.
Sure.
Got back into it in 2020, the height of the pandemic. Great time to get back into it. And since then, I've won multiple awards and got a crew behind me that's perfect. They're amazing at everything they do.
Nice. Very nice. It's good to, filmmaking is very much a collaborative effort.
It is. It takes more than just me to win these awards. It takes the entire team 100%.
Oh, sure. All of those names that you see, folks, there's a reason why those names are listed. You can't make this stuff happen without the right people.
Exactly.
So Monster, recently I just saw a post, it just recently won an award. What's the newest prize?
It won Best Horror Short at the Magic Silver Screen Festival.
Nice.
I got entered in probably 10 more different festivals. I enter our projects in festivals all over the world, online YouTube ones, in-person ones. So far it's creating some pretty good buzz. We're excited to see where it's going to go.
And it's good to see the enthusiasm behind it. One of the things that I tell folks all the time is when you're working in a creative field, if you're a writer, if you're an artist, if you're a filmmaker, you're always going to be your biggest cheerleader. Nobody's going to hype your stuff like you are. So when I see people out there and they're pitching their projects and they're saying, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, that's the kind of stuff that makes me excited. So, and I tell them that's the important thing is you're not selling, it's not like you're selling toys or you're selling groceries or you're selling, this is you, this is your work. This is what,
you're selling your art. You're selling a piece of yourself, essentially.
Exactly. How has your acceptance been in the filmmaking community?
It varies. I have done some projects that have rendered me not welcome in places.
Okay.
But I don't apologize for anything I make. Nope. Everything I make, everybody involved is 100% on board, 100% agrees with it, and is happy and proud to do the project. Now, if somebody else has an issue with that, that's their problem. It's not for them. There's an audience for everything. And just because you're not the audience for something doesn't mean it shouldn't exist.
Exactly. Now, one of the things that comes up a lot, I do a lot of publishing as well. And one of the constant things that's come up over the last couple of years is the whole trigger warning thing. Yeah. As a filmmaker, I mean, obviously, you're going to make your movie the way that you see your movie being made. That's how all creative people should work. Make the art that you see. What is your feeling, especially when it comes to the horror genre? For me, it's kind of like, you want a trigger warning? Okay, this is a horror movie. Strap it.
That's kind of my feeling. Like, I mean, if you're going to go into a horror movie, you already have to have some sort of notion that there's going to be a trigger warning. There
Right.
could be rape, there could be murder, there could be gore. They could kill kids, they could kill dogs. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
You know what
You have to go in knowing that this is
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, you're going to be exposed to things. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of going to see a horror film, is that you
Yes.
want to be exposed to things you've never been exposed to before.
Right.
The killing of the kid and the dog thing, it's funny because Pet Cemetery, they killed the dog, they killed the cat, and they killed the kid. So and that was
Even all
fine.
three. Right.
So what popped your horror cherry, so to speak? What was your first exposure to the genre?
Weird enough, it's not a film that people really think about. At least I personally don't. I think it's more gothic.
Mhm.
But when I was about 12 years old, I was sitting in the living room playing with toys and whatever. My dad was channel surfing. It was a cold, stormy night in October, and he put on Frankenstein, the original
Sure.
Boris Karloff. And as soon as that opening monologue happens, good evening, Mr. Karloff, that whole thing, something caught my attention.
Sure.
So I went and sat next to Dad, watched it, and fell in love. From that moment on, it's like I knew I wanted to make movies.
Nice.
And I always wanted to make a monster movie, but I don't want to make a monster movie that's been done 1,000 times over. I want to do something fresh and original. I
Sure.
just haven't had the inspiration yet.
Sure, absolutely. And it's like with Tarantino, you're building your craft.
Yep.
Every movie you make, you're learning things you didn't know before. You're picking up tricks you didn't know before.
That's why I think short films are great, because they're
Yes.
building blocks. They help you hone your craft, work out ideas,
Yeah.
find people that are committed to the craft and that'll actually show up and do what they say they're going
Yes.
to do. Because I've had plenty of times where people don't show up and it's got to get creative. I mean, just
Right.
recently with Jason, we had to move him to a lead role because the lead guy had bailed, but it worked out because he did phenomenal.
He killed it. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to play a game I like to call Straight Fire. It's 5 random questions, no wrong answers. Don't think about it too long. And then we'll talk about a little bit more about what you've got coming up. So folks,
Cool.
hang tight at home and check this block out. So Michael Kelso, amazingly talented writer, writes a lot of cryptid stories. Him and I actually hooked up recently, and we've done 2 scripts, full scripts for full-length creature features with cryptids in it. So Michael's a great guy, very talented writer. All right, so here we go. Straight fire, 5 questions. First question is always the same. Last question is always the same. First question being, if dogs wore pants, would they wear them on 2 legs or 4 legs?
I would say 2 legs.
2 legs. All right. What is your favorite method of murder?
Ooh, chainsaw.
Chainsaw. All right. All right. You're sitting on death row, Brad. What's your last meal?
My wife. Being honest.
All right. I'm sure she'd be very happy to hear that. What's your favorite guilty pleasure movie?
Oh God, I don't get into no guilty pleasure, because if you like something, it shouldn't be a guilty pleasure. But I'm gonna go with What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
All right. All right. Fair enough. And last question I ask, always the same. And as soon as I ask, I'll explain why. Brad, when you go to the grocery store, can you reach the stuff on the top shelf?
Yes.
All right. The most common answer I get to that question is no. And the reason why I ask it is because one of the first interviews that I did, somebody asked me, and I'm 6'4". So,
Oh, wow.
Top shelf at the grocery store has never been a problem. My whole life is little
Right.
old ladies asking me to help them in the grocery store.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a funny question. So now I ask everybody when
That's a funny question. It kind of threw me off for a second.
So Monsters wrapping out and doing great. The awards are coming in. Everything is building nicely. What do you got working right now?
So right now we completed a featured dark comedy film over the summer. We just premiered it in October, and it's going to be released through Blood Pact Films, which is owned by Shane Michaels, the guy who I worked with back in 2009. He does more distributing now. So that'll be out hopefully sometime this month, early January, out on Amazon, digital, anywhere it can go, it should be out.
Awesome. Awesome.
We also have another feature film we're putting in production early next year.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, when the feature comes out, if you guys want to come on, bring some of the cast, I'd love to have you on and we can talk about that. Where can we find you online?
I'm on Instagram at BradCase232801. My Facebook, just search Brad Case. We have a website currently. It's BK Productions 2024. It's a Canva site, however you pronounce that. We have Mevu, where we stream films. We have YouTube, where we stream films, which is BK Productions. Gumroad, BK Productions, where we sell films digitally.
Nice.
And our horror feature anthology, Scribbles from the Crypt, is available on Amazon right now. So you can stream it there and check that out.
I love an anthology. I am a sucker for an anthology. Brad, thank you so much for coming out tonight and spending some time with us. My table is always open. You want to come in and like I said, when the feature comes out, come hit us up. You and I, let's stay in touch. There's a lot going on around here. I'm sure we can find some kind of ways to cause a ruckus, my friend.
Oh, for sure. Let's do it.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, again, thank you for your time. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of THC Time. We're going to go out on a short commercial break, and I'll see you next time.